Number two is you are responsible for your joy. And this whole message is like precipitated by a lot of the posts that I've seen recently on LinkedIn where it's like, it talks about a bad boss or a toxic work environment. And it's like, there's just so many like short tweets or things that I see on LinkedIn with regard to this. And it's like, they really make me think. I've had no shortage of bad bosses, like just FYI. Like for me, I can think of one when I was like transitioning to work in New York City, which was already hard enough. And, if you've ever been through that, you negotiate your salary, whatever. And if you're moving into the city for the first time, you might think you're making a ton of money. And then you get in and you're like, holy crap, I didn't realize how expensive everything was. I'm making nothing. I don't know how I'm going to survive. So there was that. And then in addition to that, at the time, it was my first week starting. So like Monday, I found out that my mom, who was on the third time having breast cancer, needed somebody to drive her home on Friday, and I really wanted to be that person. And so I asked my boss, I'm like, hey, is there any way that I could work remote for part of the day Friday so I can drive my mom home from this thing? And it just blew up into this whole thing. And the long story short, the answer was no. And I was like, for me, that was a toxic environment. And so instead of blaming them, instead of being upset at that boss, instead of putting the responsibility on somebody else to bring me joy or help me find balance or happiness, it is your responsibility. Like, I'm not downplaying or negating the fact that you might be in a toxic work situation, but at the end of the day, that's not your boss's problem. It's your problem. And so you've got to do something about that other than complain. You might have to go somewhere else. You might have to figure out a way to deal with it. You might have to figure out a way to approach them. It might expand you and make you bite your tongue and learn a new skill. Like for me, I've been in situations with bosses that I'm like, I can't work for this person. This is crazy. And now we're like best of friends because I had to bite my tongue for long enough to understand how to see the world through their perspective. So it's nobody else but your job for you to find happiness, for you to find joy, for you to find balance. So the one quote was like, you deserve to work for a boss that, doesn't like mess up your mindset or whatever. And that just like really threw me down this process of thinking like, I don't disagree, you do deserve that, but that's within your locus of control. That's nobody else's responsibility.